When we're going through the motions of daily tasks like driving, washing the dishes, having a shower, or brushing our teeth, most of us spend a big chunk of our time on autopilot. We continue with the task, but we aren't really present. We're up in our heads going over things that happened in the past, reviewing conversations we had with friends or family, or worrying about what's coming up in the future. You know that feeling when you arrive at your destination and it's hard to recall the roads you took to get there? Or that feeling when your body is in the shower but your head is a million miles away? We all get pulled out of the present from time to time. In fact, research suggests that on average we spend about 47% of our time thinking about something other than what we are doing. It's important to note that there's nothing wrong with being on autopilot sometimes. When we do this too often though, it can become a habit where we just switch into thinking mode and before you know it, we find ourselves feeling overwhelmed in a sea of thoughts. Too much time in thinking mode can lead to issues like depression, anxiety, and a sense of feeling disconnected from others. When you practice mindfulness of daily tasks, you're sharpening your ability to practice mindfulness in more challenging or important situations, like when you're having a conversation with someone or when you're facing a difficult situation at home or at work. You're developing a sense of what it feels like to be really present, to disconnect from your mind and be in the here and now. You might like to try practicing this exercise a few times using this short audio file as a guide, and then see how you go applying the general principles on your own. We'll be using washing the dishes as an example today, but you can apply these general principles to any activity that you do each day. The idea is to develop the skill of being in the present moment using your 5 senses, staying focused on the activity that you're doing without getting carried off by thoughts, memories, worries, planning, emotions, or other distractions. So as you wash the dishes, just become aware of what you can see, hear, smell, and touch. We'll leave out taste for this exercise because you're unlikely to taste anything while washing the dishes. So just begin by becoming aware of the sound of the water as the sink fills, the sounds of the plates, pots, glassware and cutlery as you pick them up to wash them. Tuning in to the subtle sounds that arise as you move the dishes from the sink and onto the dish rack. Becoming aware of any other sounds around you. The sounds of people talking or the TV, or the sounds of your neighbours. Noticing subtle sounds like the whirring of your heater or fridge, or the sound of your own breathing. Now shifting your attention to anything that you can smell. Perhaps the smell of the dishwashing liquid, the smell of any residual food on the dishes, or any smells coming from your kitchen more generally. Becoming aware of the sensation of touch, the temperature of the water on your hands, perhaps the slippery feeling of the dishwashing liquid, the texture of the plates or cups as you clean them, the feeling of the water and bubbles splashing over your skin. What can you see as you continue to do the dishes? Practicing the mindfulness skill of non-judgmentally and factually labelling what you can see as you're doing the dishes. For example, you might look around you and see a silver sink filled with water, 3 white cups, a saucepan and 2 plates. As you do this exercise, you might find that it feels really strange. You might notice that your mind has a lot to say about what you're trying to do. You might notice yourself thinking or judging what you're doing. Thoughts like, why would I want to focus on what I can see in front of me as I do the dishes? Or how strange to tune into what I can smell as I do the dishes. This exercise is very different to the way that we approach normal daily tasks. Most of us do these tasks on autopilot. We go through the motions with little awareness of what we're doing. Instead, we're caught up in our heads, worrying, planning, ruminating, and analysing. While of course it's important to take time to think about things, it's also important to consciously create space where we give ourselves a break from thinking, where we give ourselves permission to just be in the present moment without judging or analysing our experience. Giving yourself a break from your mind, even just for a few minutes a day, can make all the difference to mental health issues like depression and anxiety, as well as your general well-being. As you continue to wash the dishes while being mindful of your senses, so noticing what you can see, hear, smell, and touch, try also to notice when you become distracted by thoughts. Our mind is a thought machine, so sooner or later you'll probably notice yourself getting carried away by thoughts. The idea is not to stop the thoughts or to beat yourself up for getting distracted by them. Try to practice just noticing when your mind has wandered off and gently bringing your attention back to the present moment by focusing on your senses as you do the dishes. Just asking yourself again, what can I see? What can I hear? What can I smell? And what can I touch? Each time your mind wanders off, you have an opportunity to develop the skill of mindfulness by gently returning your attention to doing the dishes. If your mind wanders off 1,000 times, simply bring it back 1,000 times. After you've completed the dishes, or whatever daily task it is that you're focusing on, just make a note of how you feel. How does it feel to have tried to do this task mindfully versus going into autopilot?